All right, everybody. Sorry about the delay. We had a bit of a technical issue that we had to attend to, but we got knocked out of the park. Thanks to Jim Senacropi, the boss man, coming in and helping us out. I, of course, am Paul Russo, one of the co-hosts on the Fresh Takes podcast, Russo and Felice. Across from me, as always, man, myth, legend himself, Nick Felice. Nick, we're here.
Hey, 10:15, that just means it's the start of a good time. And I don't know how long this show's going to last. It could go to 11:15, 11, who knows? As long as you're here, that's all that matters. But Paul?
That's true, yes, yep.
Don't sleep on my Lions.
Yeah, here we go again.
Don't sleep on my Lions. 2-0-1 going into that game against the Chiefs. Almost pulled out. Should have pulled it out.
Well, we can get to that, though, in a second.
But first.
Yeah, we have a new guest co-host in the freaking studio with us. Very excited. Mike Bruno joins us for his first appearance on the pod. Thanks for coming in.
Hello, people. Hello.
How's it going?
I'm doing good. It's good to be here.
Happy to have you here. New voice. Always excited for that.
I look forward to debating and talking sports with you gentlemen.
He is
should be
a
an
Dolphins fan.
I am
This is such a classy... We aren't used to this. He's being so classy right now to us.
Yeah, he's here.
We don't get that.
He's from Paul's grade. He is from Seneca Falls.
I think the viewers most likely know that.
And where do you work
hope.
right now?
I do work out at Del Lago at the sports book. So if you ever want to come place a sports bet, or if you have winning sports bets, come cash out with me.
I just realized a potential conflict of interest. Are you going to be able to participate in our one segment?
What segment?
At the end of the show?
Oh, the lock it in?
Yeah.
Yeah, why wouldn't
Okay.
I?
I didn't know.
I mean, I can't tell people who to bet when I'm there. I can tell people what I think
I
afterwards.
didn't know. I realized what we might have stumbled into.
Yeah, yes.
Paul, do not lose him. We finally got a good guest here
I'll
today.
be able to do that. I should be able to.
All right, perfect. So let's take a quick look at what we got going on. We're a little bit not rushed for time per se, but we know we're a bit later than usual. So NCAA football, we're going to hit first. NFL, MLB playoff preview, NHL season preview. Puck drops tomorrow with some big
Let's
games.
go!
There, Bruno's excited.
Let's go!
Bruno is a big hockey fan. Definitely probably bigger than me.
He's definitely bigger than me.
It doesn't take much. But and then our lock of the week, as we alluded to. So then mine, I'll jump right in to the NCAA. Make this kind of quick. It was kind of I won't say a dull week, but certainly not a week that I think we're going to look back on and be like, oh, hey, remember this from the year? I want to start, I probably should have put it first, but I want to talk about Notre Dame because that was probably I don't know, at the moment it was the tightest game of the week. I think it might have been one of two matchups where ranked teams even met in general this past week. They handled the Cavaliers. It was a nice bounce-back win for the Irish. Nick, I know you were pretty excited about it because judging by some messages, I don't think you were all that big on the Cavaliers, but Virginia certainly deserved, I thought, that top 20 ranking that they had last week. More than likely, they will be the team that faces Clemson in the ACC championship game. But this is a nice big bounce-back win for Notre Dame. I think it certainly helps bolster the resume for making the playoff should that opportunity arise again this year.
Hey, it was a good win. We struggled in the first half. I'll be honest. I was a little buzzed during the whole game, but I did get to catch parts of the game, and I saw a little bit of the second half, and they started pulling away. Things happen. They weren't winning at halftime, but that happens in sports. And they came out to play in the second half, and they ran the tables. I mean, they outplayed Virginia that second half, and I wasn't too high on Virginia. I was actually surprised that they were number 18 going into this game. Don't think of Virginia as a football team, a football school, because clearly they're a basketball school. But they shocked me a little bit. I think they should be. I think they are still in the top 25 because they should be. But that's just it's a nice win for Notre Dame, but they're going to need more teams ahead of them to lose, and they're going to need Georgia to run the tables because they need Georgia to look good, as if that is their only loss going into the playoff, because they do not play a conference championship game. But that probably is the biggest takeaway, in my opinion, from college football in week 5. Bruno,
Oh.
do you have anything?
Oh, my biggest takeaway from Week
Yes.
5? Well, I wouldn't say it's the biggest takeaway from Week 5, but in general, I think we need to stop crediting Clemson so much. As we see,
That's right. That was
the
a great
ACC
game, actually.
is extremely weak, even with Syracuse and Virginia, who are both in the top 25 this year. That is a weak conference. And Clemson, who has almost the easiest schedule, gets no blame. But yet Alabama each year has the weakest schedule.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
they are known to just be like, oh, well, they're the best team, so they should be able to play whoever they want. Well, Clemson has beat them 2 out of 3 times in the championship game. With a little bit tougher schedule because they're playing actual D1 teams, not JUCO schools. But we need to stop sleeping on we have to get our hats off of Clemson, and we need to start putting more respect into Wisconsin. Because they
Wisconsin
are going to be making some noise come December and the end of November.
They did beat Michigan.
They had a little bit of a scare, though, this past week with Northwestern.
Past week they did, but they'll get back. They'll get back.
Northwestern's a pesky team. Ooh, I like this view. This is a, cool
This is a good view.
Yeah, that's
I
a
like
good
this
view.
one.
You don't really get to see the
It's
TV
gonna-
ones, but
it's
you know
gonna
the show. But Wisconsin, Northwestern is a pesky team. What's his name? Pat Fitzgerald. He does a good job with that team. So I don't really. Yeah, it was a scare for Wisconsin, but Wisconsin is good. What Bruno said, and
Their offense, they can run, which is going to help them in the cold. They have a good defense. If they can just get past Ohio State, they will be in the championship.
What is your opinion on Jim Harbaugh?
As a coach?
Yeah, is he on the hot seat?
I wouldn't say he's on the hot seat right now. I would say he has this year to prove. Because they went in and they changed up their whole offense, which was kind of idiotic on his part because he was
He's also making the calls now, again.
He was good enough to be. He was in a Super Bowl.
Yep.
He got the highest paid coach in college. He was this close to beating Ohio State and putting Michigan on the top, but he just can't win those big games.
Nope.
I don't know if it's nerves that are getting to him. If he can't land top recruits to be able to beat Ohio State, then he will be on the hot seat. But until then, I think he's fine.
Well, it's funny because I kind of wanted to go to Ohio State a little bit next, but to tie it in, I think the only way I think we see Harbaugh in Ann Arbor next year is if he beats Ohio State.
Really?
Yeah.
You think this is it for him this year?
Yeah, I
What
think.
is this year?
I think there's
3?
year 5.
Year 5?
Yeah.
Out of how many? 8?
I think
10?
so.
8 or 10?
I think it's 8, but Michigan hasn't done anything really in its tenure there. I mean, they've gotten to one New Year's Six game. They haven't gotten to the playoff. He hasn't beaten Ohio State. I kind of discounted Ohio State going into this game against Nebraska this past week. And I don't know if maybe it's so much I discounted them or I thought Nebraska was a little bit better clearly than they were. But I think this Ohio State team certainly probably thrust themselves, certainly in the conversation for sure, for making the playoff this year now because of, I think, this past weekend. And, to piggyback off it, I think really now their biggest test, at least going into the Big Ten championship game, is going to be Michigan. You might see Penn State give them a game for a quarter or so, but, I mean, that Penn State team isn't exactly great either, Really look at the rest of the teams. You thought Maryland probably would give them a fight, and Maryland didn't give Penn State a fight this past week, and who you got left? Rutgers, who just fired their coach. I mean, I feel fairly confident in Ohio State's chances, at least going forward, at least this point on. And that might spell doom for Harbaugh up in Ann Arbor, job-wise and year-wise. So.
You say Pac-12 lost a playoff spot?
Yeah, they lost their playoff chance. Cal was pretty much their last bullet, and I can't believe I stayed up to watch that game. It was just
You thought Cal was going to go to the playoffs?
I didn't think so. I thought Washington, if anybody from the Pac-12 this year would make it.
Utah was supposed to be good, too.
I didn't put too much credit into Utah. I'm like, Utah. I thought Utah getting up to 10th was a bit much at the time.
They need to redo the playoff format.
Well, what they need to do is they need to go to, in my opinion, eight seeds, Power 5 each get an automatic bid for their winner, and then you have 3 at large.
Yeah.
So
what's yours? 8?
I'd say 8 or 16.
Mine's always crazy. I like mine. Mine's crazy. It's 17.
Uh-oh.
Here's how you do 17.
I didn't
One
ever.
team gets a bye.
So whatever, how many major conferences are there? Like 4? 5?
5.
They all get automatic bids whoever wins their conference. And then that would mean there's 10 at-large bid teams. And then I say 16 and 17 playing game. That should be all the other mid-major teams so they have a chance for a spot. And they play in a playing game, which does end up playing the number 1 seed, but at least it gives them a chance. It gives mid-majors something to play for the year. That's my crazy playoff, but I say if we go to 8, I'll be happy. 8 would be cool.
So, all right. Yeah, looking forward to this weekend in college football then. Game day, I believe, is going to, if I'm remembering correctly.
Not Syracuse.
No, we're idle this week, thank God.
It's never going to go to Syracuse. Twice this guy.
Where are they going this week? I forget at the top of my head.
Came to town.
Then we were supposed to.
That's right. They're going to Gainesville for Auburn, Florida. That's a big game this week for certainly the SEC. Let's see, that might be the really big game of the weekend. You got Ohio State playing Michigan State this weekend. That probably will be a bit of a snooze fest.
That would be like a 25-point game.
Yeah.
40 to 15.
I mean, other than that, you do have Iowa playing Michigan, but I don't know.
That's the game Harbaugh needs to win. If Iowa comes in and beats Michigan, then Harbaugh is gone.
You think he's gone after the game or just
Not
gone
after the season.
Yeah.
Actually, they might give him one more chance. One more time to try to beat Ohio State next year. Yeah. If he doesn't do it,
then
he's gone.
I mean, I'm with you, but I think those boosters want a little bit more, I'd say.
Yep.
Anyway.
Now on to the big boys.
Yeah, I'm the big boys.
Here we go.
Week 4 was, in the NFL anyway, speaking here, I don't know what to really call it as. It was such a weird week.
There was a lot of upsets.
You had,
you can't call it an upset.
I don't know if I'd...
professional.
Yeah.
Anyone can be anyone.
Yeah. We'll start here and then kind of work down, I guess. Hard hits. You had a lot of dangerous hits this week. Main one being, obviously, I think in the spotlight being Montez Burfict. Suspended for the year after the hit he had on Jack Doyle. Then you had a couple non-call big hits that were certainly helmet-to-helmet, certainly ones that should have been penalized. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say maybe suspension overall, which I know will piss off freaking Bills Mafia. But I thought the hit on Josh Allen, you certainly should have been penalized. Don't know if it's really suspension worthy, but it's certainly a penalty. Probably you'd get a fine, but whatever. And then, I don't know if you guys saw this. Bruno, you might have been, I'm assuming you probably were working Sunday.
Nope.
You weren't?
I don't work Sundays or Mondays.
Ooh.
I got the 2 days off.
Lucky you on that one.
I want to watch football.
I don't know if you, Nick, you were watching. I don't know if you really saw it, but the hit on Marcus Peters after he intercepted the ball in the Buccaneers-Rams game.
Oh, by the lineman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw
that should have been a penalty.
I did not see that one.
That didn't get one either. Unfortunately, I feel like the hits kind of headline the week, especially with Burfett's hit. You know, this is a penalty that we haven't seen in the NFL before, where you get the year-long suspension, more or less, we're sick of your shit, clean it up type deal is what it was. And it's unfortunate because I thought over the past year or so he kind of cleaned up his act a little bit. You know, looking back at it now, he looks like he hasn't really learned. Maybe this is finally the time he learns, or, you know, maybe this was his last shot in the NFL period at this point. Because Bengals let him go. Raiders more or less kind of took him on a flyer type deal. And now, obviously, he's going to miss the rest of the year. He only played 4 games as a Raider. So, like I said, unfortunately this week, I think the headline is those hits because of what happened with Brissett. So,
my biggest takeaway from week 4 was you just mentioned the game is Tampa Bay beating the Rams and scoring so many points. And it almost shows you that I think Bruce Arians is a top 5 coach right now.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, but
the way
I know the way this discussion's the road it's going down.
I mean, if his field goal kicker just makes a simple kick against the Giants, hey, they're 3-1.
Here we go.
Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay. People are sleeping on Tampa Bay.
There it is.
I think Jameis Winston. He looks like a stud this year. Mike Evans looks like he's been playing better than he ever has. Chris Godwin is a stud. I don't know how that defense is going to do, but
can we discuss words that you just said? Jameis Winston, stud.
You know what? A couple years ago, Jameis Winston had a pretty good year. He actually did. He was on my fantasy team. My fantasy team was terrible, but he was one bright spot. Jameis Winston, I think, needs to get more credit, but I think it's more Bruce Arians, what he has done to this team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not doubting you. I was a big fan of Bruce Arians in Arizona, but
yes.
I mean, to think that this Buccaneer team is like for real, I think is a bit of a stretch.
I don't know. They just went into L.A. and beat the NFC defending champ. And a lot of people are saying the Rams were the favorite, one of the favorites in the NFC going into this week. And they were scoring with ease against that defense. I'm not saying
But how often do the Rams give up big points? Remember last year they played Kansas City, they gave up 51.
Yeah.
And then they gave up 13 in the Super Bowl.
But
if you give up 13, you should win. If you hold the team to 13, you should be in a one-score game at most. You should not only score 3. So I'm saying that their defense takes 1 or 2 games off a year.
It's a big play defense.
Know they overlook Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is known to put up points.
Yeah.
You're telling me Ryan Fitzpatrick
Yeah,
is over here
he threw 8 touchdowns
yards last year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They didn't lose anyone. They didn't gain anyone crazy.
No.
It's that same offense.
Yes.
So he knows how to coach that team.
Yes. I'm not saying Tampa Bay is one of the threats in the NFC right now, but do not sleep on them, is what I'm saying. And that was the biggest takeaway, I thought.
So you're pretty much making them a threat.
I'm saying if they are a threat, you heard it from me first.
Are you saying wild card or are you saying division? Are you saying
wild
they're better
card.
than the Saints?
The Saints
who
are
are they better than? If you're saying they're a threat, they play the Saints twice in the next 6 weeks.
People aren't going to like this.
Drew Brees is gone. So are you saying Tampa Bay can win those games?
People aren't going to like this thing I'm about to say. But the Cowboys are going to fade this year.
No shit.
They're going to fade?
Fade out of the playoffs.
Look at what just happened to them in New Orleans. It's like you're not saying anything crazy.
I don't know. Bruno likes the Cowboys.
You're acting like that's a bold prediction.
I think the Cowboys are going to fade. I think you only get one team on the NFC East. And I think I think you do get 2 out of the NFC North. And you get they're going to be fighting with one of those other teams, I think, in the NFC West.
Who? You're saying the Cowboys?
No, the Bucks.
Are going to be fighting with the team in the NFC West?
Yes.
Which one?
Seattle. I think I like
Seattle.
No, the Niners will drop and the Cowboys will drop. I'm not saying Tampa Bay's going to get in.
Drop. Have you seen their schedule coming up? It's not too difficult.
Well, I mean, you know what? Tampa Bay's a good team, man. They're a good team. Jameis Winston's a good quarterback.
Oh my God!
I think people need to give him some love. I'm not saying they're going into the playoffs, but I think they're going to be fighting.
Do you realize the words you just said?
Carolina's going to fade.
I have a couple takeaways.
Atlanta's trash.
One thing is, you're saying Tampa Bay is a sleeper, right? You're saying Tampa Bay sleeping? Here is the sleeper of the NFL. Okay. The Detroit Lions.
Yeah,
they have a great defense. They now have a running back to go along with Matthew Stafford.
Yes,
all they are missing right now is a wide receiver, and they have 2 decent ones. They don't have Megatron anymore. They don't have a big name receiver. But if they were to hypothetically make a trade and get someone in there to be a deep threat, that's going to open up the field. Now that defense has just proven they can hold high-scoring offenses to low-scoring affairs. So they can bring Kansas City, who should have put up 50-something points, down to 30, and they had a chance to win the game.
And they hold Pat Mahomes to no touchdowns, too.
And Pat Mahomes, once again, no touchdowns. Another bold prediction is the Buffalo Bills are only 2 years away from taking over the AFC East from the Patriots and making it their turn.
Oh, you mean when Brady's, 45?
Brady's walking after this year if he goes to the Super Bowl.
You think so?
Calling it. Once he gets to 10 Super Bowls, he's done.
Why?
Once he gets to 10, I think he's hanging it up.
Well, I was really anticipating more debate from Nick on that one.
Well, I'm a Lions believer, too, and I think they could be one of those teams with Tampa Bay fighting for the wild cards.
All right, if it comes down to one spot, who gets the wild card, Tampa Bay or Detroit?
Detroit.
Tampa Bay, because Detroit's cursed. I love Detroit, but
they're
are
cursed
franchise. Tampa Bay is also cursed. But Tampa Bay.
I will say the NFC North is probably the toughest division to play right now.
Yes, the Bears are for real. Yes, then you got the Packers. They're good.
We finally get to see Aaron Rodgers with a legit defense. The Packers have to win this year.
And I think both of them are in. Bears and Packers, I think, are both going to be in.
And you don't trust the Vikings?
I'm not high on the Vikings. They look terrible. I know the Bears' defense is good, but they looked awful last week. What do you think of Vikings?
Of the Vikings? I mean, I like them. I like the Vikings as a team. I like everything that they are. I like their defense. I like their receivers. I like their running game. I do not like Kirk Cousins as their quarterback.
I miss Kirk.
As we see, he got paid and he forgot how to play football.
Yeah.
What they need to do is bring in a backup. And this might sound as crazy as it does. Teddy Bridgewater down in New Orleans right now.
Oh.
Could he possibly show them,
two gloves.
hey, next year, just come out and pick me up and we can have a battle.
Was he on Minnesota?
Yes.
Yeah. And then give him
How
his
could you forget
redemption
that magnificent
chance.
time?
Because this is his team. That's the same team that they had before. They just made it better.
Sounds like
why not take Teddy Bridgewater back? If he shows these next 4 weeks, he's like, hey, I'm a good player.
It sounds like you say Minnesota. Are they last in that division?
They're tied with the Lions.
No, I mean when the season's end. Do you think they're going to be last?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they will be
last. It's a tough division.
They will be second to last. I think Chicago will finish last.
Wow.
I think Chicago finishes last in that division.
Jesus Christ, I got every red button flashing over here, too, on that one.
Chicago? I know. I'm not high in Chicago either. But they impressed me last week. They impressed me not to finish last.
I don't know. I'm not big on the Packers, but...
I'm big on the Packers.
I'm big on the Packers.
You don't know this because you haven't really seen much shows of... He's a Packers hater. I'm a Packers hater.
I'm not Packers... Yeah, I am a Packers hater, but...
I like the Packers. Aaron Rodgers has weapons. Devontae Adams is arguably
he thinks Devontae
a top 5 receiver.
Thinks he sucks.
Sucks.
Yes.
Devontae Adams is a wideout 1.
He says he's not even a 1.
Really?
I know. I was done. Yeah, I was done when he told me that earlier in this season.
He's not.
So where would you rank him in the NFL right now? Out of receivers.
Top 50.
Top 50. Is he top 32? Because that would make him a 1.
Yeah,
he's got to be he's the Packers 1 because they don't have any other option.
They have plenty of options.
I don't know. I think both Diggs and Thielen are better than him. For instance.
I'm not going to deny those facts, but I'm still saying Adams is better. He's a 1. With what he does with Aaron Rodgers, that connection, he is a 1 for Aaron Rodgers.
Don't get me started on this Aaron Rodgers rhetoric. I'm not denying that at one point.
Don't get him started on
I'm not denying at one point Aaron Rodgers was a bad man. But over the past 4 years, him and Andy Dalton have been the same quarterback. It's literally it's statistically proven.
Okay. Who? That Aaron Rodgers and Andy Dalton?
Him
Are
and
we
Andy
talking
Dalton are
QBR?
comparable quarterbacks.
Oh my goodness. You're bugging. You
Just
are
don't
bugging.
get him started.
Speaking of bugging, Nick tends to do one every week here, so let's move on to predictions for the week.
But I will, hold on.
Okay,
I
okay.
just have one thing I need to throw in before we get to the predictions.
Jesus. Fire
Could
away.
we see Danny Dimes, Tebow? Could
Huh?
he keep winning? Is he going to pull off Tebow here and keep winning and winning and winning and winning?
Will go
7
out.
weeks of nonstop Danny Dimes craziness.
I will go out and say, if the Eagles lose a couple games and the Cowboys lose a couple games, the Giants have a shot at the division with Daniel Jones.
I think
Once
so
you get
too.
Saquon Barkley back, depending on how long, depending on what they do while he's out, when he comes back,
Yep.
that's going to change the whole dynamic of the team again, which they're going to become a run first. It's going to be cold weather. Their end of their schedule is pretty weak. I know they play the Dolphins like week 15, so that should be a gimme. They could make some noise. Now, I'm not going out there and saying they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to be a 1 seed. They're going to get a bye. They have a chance to be a contender just like the Lions or the Buccaneers, to throw in some spoilers to some teams at the end of the year that may be looking to get into the playoffs, and then all of a sudden that's a sleeper game that they lose. They overlook.
Yep. That's our Danny Dimes.
Your Danny Dimes? better than Eli?
Yes, right now.
Eli a
Yes.
Hall of Famer?
Yes. Look at the
Wrong.
stats.
Wrong. Is Joe Flacco a Hall of Famer?
He's a
What-
Flacco
is that-
hater.
All right, this is a question.
He's a
All right, what is there any quarterback in the NFL Hall of Fame with a below 500 record all time?
I think so, yeah. Namath.
Joe Namath?
I think Namath
You think
has a
that,
bull
is that
500.
the only one? Because Eli right now is at 500.
Not below.
But
He's gonna
but
play.
if he started against the Bucks, they were gonna lose.
If the Giants have a bad year, which they probably could, he's gonna play Week 17, retire after that win, so we'll go over 500.
You better hope. What if he loses? Then what? They're just gonna say, "Oh, he's
Giants
not good enough?
schedule.
Oh, wow. We actually
Oh, let's pull it up.
have a lot of
Eagles.
quarterbacks.
Home against the Eagles.
A lot of who?
We actually have a lot of quarterbacks that have sub 500 career records that are in the Hall of Fame. Troy Aikman. Actually,
Troy Aikman
Hold on.
is sub 500.
hold on. We actually don't have Joe Namath in this. We have Troy Aikman, George Blanda, Terry Bradshaw. Fun fact there. Bet you didn't think about that.
Under 500?
Len Dawson, John Elway, Dan Fouts, Otto Graham, and Bob Greasy.
Hey, are these their overall records or are these their playoff records?
Hall of Fame quarterbacks with losing records.
What's the record? Does it not give the record? I think that's
Wow, this involves me going down a deeper.
that's got to be the playoffs.
Aikman.
I mean, we can look it up
How
after
come
the
the
show.
Hall of Fame website's got to be so fucking difficult?
You can look it up after the show, but
Whatever. Let's go to predictions.
I just that would blow my mind. All of them.
Predictions on you see
All right.
games. I need
Thursday-
He tells them, he tells them.
Thursday night, Rams at the Seahawks. That's a little bit of a tougher game to
Rams
pick in my
at
opinion.
Seahawks?
Yeah. And then we'll go Seahawks though.
I like the Seahawks at home. That's my pick. That's all I gotta say on that.
We tend to usually just pick and
You
I'm
can
going
say-
Rams.
You can say
I'm going
so.
Rams. I like the Seahawks, but I think the Rams have to bounce back after giving up 45. I think they were not prepared for Tampa Bay. They were looking ahead to Seattle.
our first
Danny Dimes would beat them.
Our first Sunday game at 1 o'clock, the Jets go to Philly to play the Eagles. I'm going Eagles.
Is Darnold back from his cold?
I don't think it would make a difference in my
Going
opinion on
Eagles.
this one.
I'm going Birds. But I'm expecting a big game from Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, I would love that. Would love that.
Kirk Cousins and the Vikings travel to MetLife to play Danny Dimes and the Giants.
Just told you he's Tim Tebow. Danny Dimes making it 3 in a row.
I'm going Vikings.
I'm with Bruno. I'm taking the Vikings.
I'm going Vikings, and I'm saying it's a low-scoring game. I'm saying maybe Vikings 20-16.
Okay. Let's see here. We got the Jaguars at the Panthers. Battle of the Cats.
Jaguars at Panthers.
Yep. All right, I'm on the Gardner train on this one. Give me the Jags.
I would want to be in the Gardner Minshew bandwagon, but I'm going Panthers in this game.
I am also going Panthers because Kyle Allen is
He looks real. He looks real deal right now.
I think he has proven that Cam Newton is the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. There's nothing different about that team, and how is he putting up those numbers and Cam can't? And Cam's supposed to be better.
Definitely probably one of the most overrated, yeah. They rate him high.
This game might be the make or break game of the season for these two teams. Atlanta goes to Houston to play the Texans.
Atlanta's not a good road team. I got the Texans.
I'm going Texans as well.
Let's see. Well,
Atlanta at Houston.
I was expecting Atlanta's offense to be something spectacular, but I was also banking on the Texans to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl this year, with Deshaun Watson to be the MVP.
They haven't played that great.
So I think we're going to see another Texans game where Watson has a good connection with Kenny Stills. Well, DeAndre
You starting Kenny Stills in your fantasy team?
I'm not starting Kenny Stills. I'm keeping him on the bench.
So you like the Texans?
I like the Texans.
All right.
Let's see. We got the Buccaneers traveling to the Superdome to play the Saints. I'm going Saints.
Just fitting for the show, I am going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at this game. Saints almost lost in the Superdome.
I am also going with Tampa Bay.
Oh.
I think the Saints are riding high on that Cowboys victory, and they're going to lose.
All right.
Good pick.
Arizona comes east to play the Bungles. I'm going Cardinals.
So,
Give me Arizona.
In this show, when Paul doesn't answer, and I don't agree with him, I always go with a why. Why? And
Cincinnati is trash.
But Arizona is trash. And Cincinnati is home. And I like Andy Dalton. I like John Ross. They didn't get it going on Monday night, but
we need to get you piss tested
on Sunday. Give me the Bengals. They're getting that first win of the season.
You're tripping.
If not, they're tying.
Bills at the Titans. This one's a bit of a preface game for me.
Give me the Bills.
Yeah.
Give me the Bills. Unless Mariota does not start.
Oh, that's not what I was going with.
Then I will say give me the Titans. Otherwise, give me the Bills.
If Matt Barkley starts, I'm taking the Titans. But if Allen starts, I'm going to go with the Bills. So I'll go with the Bills.
Actually, I'm with you. If Allen's not playing,
Yeah.
I'm going Titans.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So if Allen's not playing, you guys are going Titans.
Yeah. I mean, we saw what Matt Barkley.
I agree. If Allen's not playing, I'm going Titans. But I will go Bills if he is playing. I will agree.
I feel like no explanation is needed for this game. Patriots at the Redskins. I'm taking the Patriots.
I'm
going Patriots.
Yes, Paul. I'm going Patriots.
NFC or AFC.
Jake Gruden is still coaching?
Yes.
Screw you. AFC North battle. Ravens at the Steelers. I'm going Ravens. Mason Rudolph looked bad.
I think there's more problems with this Ravens team than we
Is this a primetime game? Is this like a 4 o'clock game?
1 o'clock still. We're still in the 1 o'clock window.
I like the way Mason Rudolph plays the game. I like the Steelers at home.
I'm going to go Ravens.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Ravens. I think the Ravens can beat them.
Our last game in the 1 o'clock window, Chicago and the Raiders. I think they got this wrong on the schedule.
Huh?
I think they got this wrong on the schedule because it shows
the Bears play the Raiders.
Bears at Raiders, but Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I think it's in London.
Oh, is it the England game? We're already going to England?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because the Raiders aren't home for a while.
Okay. Well,
they don't have
that's
another
right.
home game. They're in London, Canada and Mexico.
Yeah.
Ooh. This is an interesting one. I kind of want to take the Raiders, but I'll go with the Bears.
Kind of upset that it's not 9 o'clock. You know, I like those 9 o'clock early games.
I don't.
But It was a night game, so it's at 1.
Yeah,
But who'd you go with?
Bears.
I'm going with the Bears. Yeah.
I'm going with Oakland.
Okay.
See, I think me and Bruno are kind of on the same wavelength because
I'm going with Oakland. This
I'm
is a
tempted
statement.
to.
He did
This
say the
is
Bears last place.
This is a Gruden statement game saying we don't need Khalil Mack. And
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And if Derek Carr does not get sacked from Mack, I think they're going to win. And they're going to use a lot of quick screen, quick out passes.
I think Khalil Mack will get a sack.
All right, so
We'll see.
we only got 2 4:00 games on Sunday. The first one is Broncos at the Chargers. I'm going to go with the Chargers.
Chargers.
Going with the Broncos. Because Joe Flacco, they've lost by a game-winning field goal twice now this season. I don't know if it's 2 times in a row, but they've lost twice.
It was the Bears and then the Jaguars.
Chargers, they do not play. I've been saying this after week. They do not play back-to-back good seasons. I think the Broncos finally get a win this week. Joe Flacco, baby.
And what is surely going to be the Troy Aikman bleep fest,
Oh, yeah.
we have Packers at Dallas.
At Dallas?
Yeah.
God, I want to root for the Packers, but I think the Cowboys are winning this game.
I like Green Bay. I think Green Bay plays really well in Dallas. And now with that defense, it's going to be an
Rodgers
even
primetime?
match.
No.
I don't trust Dak enough to go down the field. I have way more trust in Aaron Rodgers. So I'm going to go with the Packers.
I'm going to go with the Packers
I know you hate both these teams.
for a little bit of a different reason. I think
You're going Packers.
if this Packers defense is for real, Dak's going to struggle. So I think we'll find out.
See it, but I have a weird feeling
Kill the clock and run Zeke.
Cowboys are going to win.
Sunday night this week is the Colts at the Chiefs. I'm going Chiefs.
Colts at Chiefs? Yeah, Chiefs.
I think the Colts are going to have the
Wow.
momentum. And I'm saying the
Really?
Colts. I think the Colts knock the Chiefs off. Mainly because I think Mac is going to have it going.
Okay.
Mac's going to go for probably $125. Jacoby's going to throw for a couple.
All right.
I think if they can keep
I love to see
the
it.
Chiefs' offense off the field, they have a good chance of winning.
And lastly, Monday night, Browns at the 49ers.
So, Paul, you're a big Browns guy. Every time you pick the Browns, they've won, or they've lost. And every time you don't pick the Browns, they've won.
That changes this week. Browns are going to win
And they're where?
at San Fran.
I'm liking San Francisco. I like San Francisco in that game.
I'm liking San Francisco too, but not in the long run. But I like them this week. I think the Browns have a setback.
I
after
think
their
the
victory.
Browns are too focused on off-the-field issues.
Yes.
We got Baker Mayfield calling out Rex Ryan. We got Odell wanting to show up in $1 million watches.
Yep.
It's like, dude, just take the watch off, play football. We know you're a good receiver. We don't need all this extra nonsense. Baker, just do your job.
Yep.
All right. Includes the NFL for the week.
Man, I can't wait for the NFL playoffs.
Wow, what a seamless transition. The run to the World Series has already begun, technically. So
Who's
who
supposed to score?
will get the pennants? Who will hoist the trophy at the end of the year? At the end of the playoffs?
What's the score?
I'm
Currently,
gonna say-
Brewers are at the Nationals right now in the NL wild card game. Bruno is providing the score update here shortly.
3-1, bottom 8th. Nationals have bases loaded.
Oh boy,
Yes.
2.
who's pitching? Hader.
Hater.
Oh boy.
Soto's at bat.
Oh, this is a big moment. Bruno, keep us updated as we discuss and whatever
A lot of
here.
MLB breaking news.
Tomorrow in the AL wild card, we have Tampa Bay at Oakland. Has Tampa Bay announced who their starter is yet for tomorrow?
I don't know.
I know Oakland announced Sean Manaea as their starter.
Gotta be Charlie.
Well, I was thinking, in all honesty, they might go Glass now, but
Not Snell. Snell
No.
was pissed, I think.
but sort of battle of the at least in the AL, it's a battle of the analytic squads. Then Thursday, we'll go Thursday first. Thursday, you have the winner of the NL wild card game They're playing the Dodgers. And then
Charlie Morton.
also on third,
It's Charlie Moore.
Charlie Morton.
Versus Mike Fiers.
No, they announced Manaea as the starter.
Well, it says right here, A's once have decided. They have not decided to go with him.
Wow. All right. And then also on Thursday, the other NL game, Cardinals at the Braves. The AL game, the Astros will host the winner of the Rays and the Athletics. And then for the other game on Friday in the AL, Twins go to the Yankees for their game. Going to be a really fun playoff, I think. You got a lot of electricity around a lot of these teams. I thought the MLB did a really great job in the hype promo video that they dropped today, kind of expressing that a little bit. I think we're going to see some, I wouldn't say upsets per se, but you're going to see, I think, some interesting stuff go down in these playoffs this year. A lot of youth. You tend not to really get this every now and then, where you look at, I guess, from 2009 when the Yankees last won up through now, you've kind of seen this progress of youth kind of start to take over. You know, Yankees had veterans in 2009, the Giants had veterans in 2010, but then you kind of flip it a little bit, and as you start, I guess, with the Cardinals in 2011, they had a lot of veterans, but at the same time, you had this combo of youth in that team as well. Bruno looks like he has an update.
Nationals are up 4-3.
Oh, wow.
At the end of the 8th.
Wow. No.
Had to be.
He singled to right. Stevenson scored. Taylor scored. Brunson scored. Soto safe at second on air.
Oh, you hate to
and
see
then
it.
Soto got thrown out at third.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Hater blew it.
You hate to see it.
I'd love to see it. I hate Milwaukee.
Why do you hate Milwaukee?
You hate
What's
a lot
hate
of
about
teams.
Milwaukee?
Nick, I've been meaning to ask you about this, man. Like, what is up with your just hatred of every team?
They lose their best player, who should be an MVP candidate.
Yeah, well, he is an MVP candidate still.
Milwaukee.
And you are going to hate on a team that is still in the playoffs.
Yes, because I'm a Pirates fan.
They aren't even rivals.
They beat up on the Pirates. They beat them 14 times this year, and I remember back in the day when they used to kill the Pirates. No, I do not like anyone in our division. I do not like the Reds. I do not like the Cardinals, especially not the Cardinals. I do not like the Cubs. I'm glad Joe Madden's gone. I'm glad Joe Madden and Clint Hurdle got fired on the same day. And I especially do not like Milwaukee. Do not like my division.
All right, I can respect that.
As a Pirates
That
fan.
is respectable.
Yes. It's the reason why it's not like I think Yelich is on steroids. Maybe a little biased because I don't like the team, but
It's what we call reckless speculation.
I'm a diehard Pirates fan. I do not like the division.
Anyway, going back to what I was talking about before,
But enough
though.
about the Pirates. We don't talk about that. Terrible season.
But yeah, especially like I said, and then you start seeing the progress over the past couple of years. Kind of like the 2016 World Series, where you kind of, I guess, foresee the combo of youth and veterans and how it's kind of swaying towards the youth a little bit with the Indians and Cubs. And then you look at the Astros in 2017, kind of the same deal. And then last year with the Red Sox, same deal. Now I think this year you're going to see a team that probably has the perfect combo of youth and veterans, I think, prevail in this way. What's weird is you look at every team this year and kind of make a case that each team has probably that perfect combo in a way. But as is the most case with every playoffs, but especially I think baseball in particular, whoever really has that hot hand on one side of the ball, in this case pitching, tends to do the best down the stretch. That being said, hard to make a case against, say, a team like St. Louis, I think, in my opinion. At least front-end wise. Bullpen wise, I think it kind of is a toss-up, I'd say, probably between the Braves, the Yankees. I think the Dodgers on the stretch, I think their bullpen kind of stabilized a little bit, at least in my opinion.
Nationals win, they got to worry about their bullpen.
Yeah, well, that's a big if.
One of the
still.
worst bullpens to ever make the playoffs.
It's a big if still if they get there. So, what do you guys think kind of with the playoffs here?
I think it's Houston's league to lose. They have by far, my opinion, by far the best 1, 2, 3 starter punch in the game right now, in the playoffs, in the game, with Verlander, Cole, and Greinke. I think in a best-of-5 series, that starting rotation is going to be impossible to beat. And best-of-7, it's going to be tough to get a series lead off of it as long as they pitch how they've been pitching all season long, especially the way Garrett Cole's been pitching. I think Garrett Cole should be the Cy Young, just the way he is flat-out pitched. Upsets me to see him and Charlie Morton, who were on the Pirates, in the playoffs.
Here we go. What about
Glass now was
Austin
Meadows.
Pirates. Austin Meadows.
But we have Chris Archer. That 5-something ERA, man. He won 3 games this year. Chris Archer really
caused more problems than he solved.
But that's a different story. I think it's Houston's division to lose. I think the only threat they have in the American League is the Yankees. Yeah. National League, I think, is a toss-up. We'll see how it goes. You'd like to think it's the Dodgers, but we'll see. Bruno?
Like you said, out of the National League, I think it's a toss-up. Personally, I would say the Braves would probably have the best chance.
That's who I've been high on through September.
They just play just like the Astros did in 2017, where they're not afraid to play small ball, move guys over, score runs that way rather than hitting home runs. They rely on base running, which is key. They have good defense. So I think the Braves can go there.
Yeah. They were in it last year. The young players got the experience.
You're high on the Astros, saying that it's the Astros to lose. If Oakland happens to beat Tampa Bay tomorrow,
that's going to be a problem.
I think will win against the Astros in the first round.
Really?
Mainly because in the final 2 months, the Astros are 2-11 against the A's. Now that's going to be hard because they play each other 18 times. So to start the season,
stat.
They started out 9-0 against them. Then they finished, and now they're overall, I think it's 11-8 or something against the A's this year. So they're about an even matchup. But also with the A's getting that extra playing day, where now the Astros are taking a long break, I think that could hurt them in the long run. But I also find that the Yankees are going to have a tough time with the Twins. That's not going to be an easy out for anyone.
With the history, Yankees won like 10 straight against the Twins in the playoffs.
Yeah, something ridiculous, but every game they played this year was basically a home run derby. So I'm going to expect the same thing into the postseason with the Yankees having home field there. I'm going to say the Yankees make it by that. If the Astros don't get by the A's, I have the Yankees representing the AL. Or I'm going to take the Astros if they get the Rays.
Now, you were a Yankee fan, now you're an Astros fan?
I've been an Astros fan.
For life?
Not for life.
Oh, okay.
Ever since they had a guy named LJ Hose.
Okay.
My man.
Yeah, so you're an Astros guy now.
Yep.
You like the Yankees.
I started being an Astros fan like 2013. They were 55 and 102, I think. And then I was like, all right.
I remember that.
I'm an Astros fan.
Yeah, and you like the Yankees to come out to win the AL Pennant.
If the Astros don't get past the A's. If they do get past the A's, I'm taking the Astros.
Now, if they're playing the Rays, you think they're going to...
I think it's going to be 3 games in.
Well,
on to the next one.
No. Are we making predictions here, Paul?
Yeah, we got time. We're gonna need to wrap some things up here. We're kind of running somewhat short on time, but yeah, predictions.
But I will say one thing, Paul. I threw on our baseball preseason show, threw it off the top of my head right the last second. I said Twins-Cardinals World Series. That still has a chance.
There we go. Let's go, Nick. You should have bet that at the sportsbook.
No, I just
should have parlayed those two to win the AL and the NL, and you'd be winning some money.
Twins-Cardinals, but I don't like Twins-Cardinals now.
Why not?
We have breaking baseball news. Breaking baseball news. The Washington Nationals have defeated the Milwaukee Brewers 4-3 to advance to the NLDS. Yes, boo.
Yes.
Boo.
But let's just face it. This is the Nationals. They do not get past the divisional round. No Washington sports franchise comes through in the playoffs.
All right.
The Capitals and Alex Ovechkin would like a word.
Let me ask you this. Is it no team, or are the Nationals better without Bryce Harper than with him? They're still in the playoffs. They're just as far with him.
I will go on a list. Bryce Harper is the most overrated baseball player.
You think he's the most overrated?
Yes. He doesn't do much for the team. For what he's making.
I would say Manny Machado.
No, he's up there too. He doesn't do anything either. I mean, you got Anthony Rendon. Give him some respect, man.
Anyway, predictions.
I'll go real quick. I think, the Nationals just won. They're going to lose to the Dodgers. The Braves are going to beat the Cardinals. Dodgers in the World Series. I think the Rays get it done, but it's not going to matter. The Astros are going to kill them, and the Yankees are going to kill the Twins because they always do. And I like the Astros, to win it all. And the Dodgers lose 3 straight World Series? Are we talking Buffalo Bills? Could this be the Bills?
I'm going Astros beat the Rays. Yankees beat the Twins. Astros beat the Yankees. Who are the Dodgers playing? Nationals?
They will play the Nationals.
I'm saying the Dodgers beat the Nationals. Braves beat the Cardinals. Braves beat the Dodgers. Astros beat the Braves.
Paul?
So I'm going to go with Dodgers beating the Nationals. I'm going to go Cardinals beating the Braves. And I have the Cardinals beating the Dodgers to get into the World Series. I think tomorrow, Oakland will beat the Rays. I think the Astros will beat Oakland, though. I think the Yankees will beat the Twins. I think the Yankees will beat the Astros. And the Yankees will win the World Series against the Cardinals.
We'll see.
I'm going for it.
It's been a while since the rich Yankees have won.
Yeah, 10 years. Not quite as long as 22, but,
Who's 22?
Pirates losing streak.
We lost 20 years in a row, Paul. Get it right.
Oh, my bad.
And that ended in 2013.
Anyway, we are a bit short on time, so we'll have to do this NHL preview very quickly. More or less a rapid-fire, type deal. Bruno, you're a Sabres fan. Question I posed to you, can they make the leap? They showed some signs last year that I think they're knocking on the playoff door. Do they get there this year? What are your expectations for the Sabres team? Because I think it's going to be a fun year for Sabres fans.
So I think they showed us a little bit of what they want to be last year when they went on their 11-game winning streak early on.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the depth to go and dominate all year long and be that top team, but I do see the Sabres getting into the playoffs this year as a wild card team, so either like a 7 or 8. They should be making some noise on offense. They could have one of the scariest offenses with Jack Eichel, Jeff Skinner, Reinhart, all those boys. But one thing that the Sabres have been looking to do recently, which has just been breaking news because Russo has asked for a trade from Buffalo a couple months ago.
Excuse me, what?
Russo, he's a young.
No, I know who he is. I know who he is.
He has asked for a trade, and the Winnipeg Jets have called the Sabres and said, we will give you Patrick Lane for Russo and a first-round draft pick.
Whoa.
So if all of a sudden they want to pull that trigger and get Patrick Lane on there with his contract extension he just signed, we could have a really bright future.
I did not know that the last part of there. Patrick Laine is a real deal player.
He is a real deal.
No.
But
plus a first-round pick.
Winnipeg doesn't want to pay him what they just signed him to. Whew. They want to make Russo happy. They need a young defenseman.
They do. They effectively emptied the shelf on defensemen this past offseason.
Yes. And they're still waiting to hear back on if guys are officially retired or if they want to make a comeback. So they're looking to throw some money at young defensemen, and Buffalo has one that they really want. And if they happen to pull that trigger, I think that puts Buffalo over the top for the playoffs.
My New York Rangers preview here.
Yeah.
I just had my fantasy hockey draft with Paul.
Okay.
And I drafted Jack Hughes and Capo Caco.
You drafted Capo in the first round.
Drafted Capo Caco in the first round.
Hey, that's a risky move. Let's see if it pays off.
That's an extremely risky.
Let's see if it pays off.
Still got Malkin on my team.
Okay.
And I think Capo Caco will have a better rookie year than Jack Hughes.
Okay.
He will win Rookie of the Year, and he will be electric, and he will lead the Rangers to the second wild card.
All right. Who's the first?
First, Sabres.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
So, hockey starts tomorrow on NBC
Sports
Network.
Yep, NBCSN.
I'm excited for Vegas this year. I'm a big Vegas guy.
What, the Capitals Vegas tomorrow? Capital Sharks?
We got Capitals at the Blues and then Sharks at the Golden Knights.
There we go. 2 good games.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's also 2 other games, but
I'm going to say Capitals win and Sharks win.
I like that, yeah.
I like the Blues to win, and I like the Knights to win.
There we go.
I like the Caps and the Sharks.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with.
That's fine.
Anyway, my big question for my team being the Lightning, can they overcome the choke that they had last year? Because this is probably going to be the last year that they have the window fully open, as I'd call it. They're going to have to start paying people. They struggled this past offseason with Braden Point. They got a deal done, not the 11th hour, but about as close as you can kind of get to it, I'd say. Same token, you got other guys coming up. They're going to want to get paid, like Yanni Gourde. Yanni Gourde's quietly a really great player. He'll be up. Vasilevsky, the goalie. Hopefully he'll back up the performance he had last year. What?
Dan Girardi retired.
But we got Shattenkirk. I think the Lightning still make the playoffs. It's going to be I think it's going to be a little bit of a tough year. They're going to have that stigma around them,
Will
I
they
think,
be as
this
good
year.
as they were in the regular season last year?
No, I don't think so.
That was pretty historic.
It's hard to do what they did 2 years in a row. So, you got a lot of new faces and new places, or familiar faces and new places. I'm kind of intrigued to see what Phil Kessel can do in Arizona, only because that fat bastard, man, I tell you what. But it'll be interesting to see if he kind of rejuvenates a little bit at the tail end of his career a little bit.
Zdeno Chara, big year?
This might be Chara's last year.
Wow.
It's the way it kind of seems anyway. Boston's going to be really good, I think. If Pasternak can stay healthy, we know Marchand's going to be a rat that he is, but if I think he can keep his head out of the more controversial stuff, that defense is young and I think will only get better. And plus Tuukka Rask is still Tuukka Rask.
Real quick, my finals, I have the Rangers over the Kings rematch, and they get it done.
Wow.
Okay.
All right, that's a bold prediction.
Your finals? Early?
Oh, my finals
Yeah.
early?
Stanley Cup
Let's see.
final. See if you can predict it. Who wins? Over who?
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Wow.
Win?
They lose to the Sharks.
That's the West team that I had are the Sharks. I'm going to bite that bullet, if you call it that. Although I will say a dark horse team, I don't know if they'll make the finals, but I think you might see them make some waves this year. Dallas Stars are kind of rejuvenated a little bit.
He's right on that. I'm going to change it. I'm going to the Stars to the finals.
Oh,
They win.
okay.
I'm going to Stars. Yeah, Stars win.
They've kind of rejuvenated up front, maybe not exactly in the most youthful way, but they got high-scoring chances now, obviously, with Seguin. Pavelski's there now. You already have some good guys there already in the first place. And I'm not completely sold on it, but they're expecting a big year out of Ben Bishop. So, I'm saying the Sharks for the West, but I'm just saying Dallas, I think, might make some noise. In the East, it hurts me to say it, but I think Boston gets back to the finals. I think Boston will win over the Sharks. for the Stanley Cup.
Boston another championship.
Unfortunately, but that team's good. That team's good.
Is a Celtics anytime soon. That's your team.
And the Rockets.
While we got time, we still got a couple minutes left here. We're going to do our lock of the week. If you guys have one,
I do.
Rockets final.
My lock of the week: the Arizona Cardinals are plus 3.5 at Cincinnati for the NFL. Arizona plus 3.5 is what my lock of the week.
My lock of the week is not one you probably should just do straight up, but add it to your parlay. Take the money line on the Yankees in Game 1. They're winning that
Friday
game
night. I like that.
over the Twins.
Bruno, you got one?
Lock of the week. Let's see. Hockey starting.
Ooh.
Taking the Sabres to win their first game against the Penguins on Thursday.
Ooh. I like that.
He legally said that.
He legally did. All right. That takes us to the end of the podcast for this week. As always, we thank everyone for tuning in. Again, we had a bit of a technical delay. Sorry about that. Not much we could really do at the time.
Watching this and it's Friday.
Yeah. If you're watching this, obviously not. It doesn't matter.
Wednesday.
You don't know about the technical delay. He just watched it.
Bruno's already getting up. We haven't even said thank you for him tuning in yet. Bruno, but
11 o'clock.
yeah, but thank you for coming in. Awesome having a new voice
thank you for
on.
having me.
Yeah, the debut. Let's have you back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe someone else will be here.
Maybe. We'll get the whole crew in here.
Yeah.
Tell Matt and Pat right now why you're not here.
Matt, Pat, Justin, get in here.
All right. Nick, you got anyone shouting out today?
I'm actually shouting out Justin's brother.
I knew
Zach.
that was coming.
I was about to call him Paul. It's Paul Hill.
Hey, Paul Hill. Come on.
He's an OG.
You know what? Shout out Paul Hill too, their dad.
He's an OG.
Really shout out Zach Hill. He's a new home leaser.
Owner.
Just bought a home owner. Congrats, Zach Hill. He doesn't know my name, but I know yours.
That's a good story.
Shout out Zach.
Anyway, as always, we thank you again for tuning in. If you haven't already, you should like, share, subscribe on the YouTube channel. Download the Finger Lakes One app. It's how I get pretty much all my morning news locally here. And we will catch you next week here on the Fresh Lakes Podcast.